All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So my buddy Paul Eston had a really interesting find from Adam Schefter on ESPN. Now, it's not like a direct report or anything like that. So there was no article. It was Schefter on TV, and I have the direct quote pulled up here. It says Schefter believes that if the Jets trade for Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers, that deal would include the 13th overall pick. Now, there's been talks with, between a bunch of different reporters here. Some are saying that, initially it was going to cost 2 first-round picks. Then as time went on, it was maybe 2 middle-round picks, maybe 1 middle-round pick. Like, it just keeps on changing. I think really the reality here is that nobody knows the exact market for Aaron Rodgers. But we do know this. The Jets are desperate. The Jets are desperate. We have an owner that loves to make these splash types of moves. He understands that there's pressure on the organization. He understands that the team has a really good defense. They have young, up-and-coming playmakers. It would not surprise me if Woody Johnson steps in and tells Joe Douglas, yeah, that 13th overall pick, send it to Green Bay. If that's what it takes, do it. I could see an ownership override here, if that makes any sort of sense. When we look at the top 2 front runners for Aaron Rodgers, if he were to be traded, the Jets and the Raiders, and start comparing assets, right? Things that you can utilize in a trade to Green Bay. The Raiders, unfortunately, have that top 10 pick. It's either 7th or 8th overall. They have that in their back pocket. There's nothing that the Jets own that's more valuable than that draft pick. Even in the event where the Jets offer a future first-round pick, I mean, they would be in turn getting Aaron Rodgers, so one would assume that that pick is probably going to be in the 20s somewhere. So the Raiders, in a sense, have a trump card because that pick is just so dang valuable. But then, on the Jets side of it, with the owner, with the amount of pressure that the organization has on its shoulders right now to figure this position out, they can all of a sudden just start packaging more and more and more. People are talking about like a first-round pick, a conditional pick, right, to where it's maybe a 4th-round pick now, but could get bumped up to a 3rd or to a 2nd, depending on if Rodgers wants to play a 2nd year in New York because his future is not guaranteed. He could, if he's considering retirement now, he's definitely going to be considering retirement a year from now, So, it just makes total sense. He's going to be 41 years old next offseason. So maybe a conditional trade gets in there, but I think really the bottom line is, the first hurdle, does Aaron want to play? I think the answer is going to be yes. The second hurdle, Rodgers has to come to the Packers and say, hey, you know what? We had a great run. You guys are always going to be home, like he said in the McAfee show, but I want to be traded. Let's work something out. Then the third hurdle, who's going to pay more, the Raiders or the Jets? If the Jets decide to pay more and have that trade worked out with the Green Bay Packers, the fourth and final hurdle, will Aaron Rodgers prefer the New York Jets? Does he even want to go? That's arguably one of the most important things of this whole thing. The Jets could have the perfect deal. The Jets can have, exactly what the Green Bay Packers want, a first-round pick, a future pick, a player as well. But if Aaron does not want to go to New York, he'll threaten retirement or say, hey, you know what? I would rather play with the Packers. I would rather, get moved to Tennessee or Oakland or Las Vegas, wherever. I don't want to play for the Jets. So it's just such a dicey situation. It's such a roll of the dice here by the Jets front office. I do actually want to include Paul said, let's see. Okay, so Milk Hyper, also from ESPN, said that Rodgers looks like he belongs with the New York Jets, and if he isn't on the Jets in 2023, he would be surprised. Now, obviously, Milk Hyper is the draft analyst, and Schefter's the insider, and so I obviously don't want to put a ton of stock into that, but I'm looking at Rodgers, the possibility. It's out there. It could happen. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I know to some it might, frankly suck to give up the 13th overall pick because it's not like the Jets are a perfect team. We have holes on the offensive line. We have a hole at safety, maybe multiple holes at linebacker. So to give away the 13th overall pick here might not be the most ideal situation, but again, because there's so much pressure on the New York Jets and because it seems like the Jets want Rodgers so desperately, the Packers can just kick back, and say, you know what, we'll take the 13th pick. Oh, we'll actually take that as well. Oh, can you throw this in? Can you throw this in? And create the bidding war themselves. And with Woody Johnson, that, just that temptation to go get the big superstar, one of the best quarterbacks in football, yeah, I assume he's going to keep on spending, keep on just throwing stuff down onto the table and almost forcing Green Bay to move him. If, of course, Rodgers wants to get traded in the first place. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. Sorry about the bad lighting too, by the way. Light ended up dying, but I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.